Hello. Thank you for joining for another episode at Investing with All I See is W. Today, I wanted to make this video to share with you 3 picks that I feel will add significant value to your financial investment portfolio. But first, before I begin, I'd like to inform you that the information I'm sharing with you should be taken as guidance information only, and anytime when I share information with you, please do your own investment research. Let's get started. So the 3 tickers I wanted to share with you are the companies iBio, Inovio Pharmaceuticals, and Vaxart. I will share with you my reasons why I feel these 3 tickers will blow up soon rather than later. Now let's get started. Ticker number 1 I wanted to cover first is iBio. So today, what we learned was that in the pre-market, this ticker was already roaring, and I firmly believe it has to do with the market sentiment that took place with the politics yesterday. So for example, when Donald Trump had released information that there is new potential alternatives out there, rather than using remdesivir and hydrochloroquine, there's now plasma to be used, and now the FDA has granted emergency use authorization while in parallel continuing to do clinical studies. Now this is great news because this demonstrates iBio's skills and competencies, and the fact that now you're able to leverage plasma by using antibodies and immunize patients. You can then start leveraging that technology for the COVID-19 protection, and that's what iBio is so skilled at with its protein characterization. And I feel like with iBio's contract manufacturer setup, it can continue to grow and it can support this type of technology moving forward. And that's one of the reasons why iBio blew up so much today. I mean, towards the end of the day, it ended at 30% market share gain, and in the current aftermarket, it's hovering like an extra 10%. So it's looking like it's going to end the day with the 40% share price gain based on just market sentiment. And what we know is there's tons of milestones that will be coming out from iBio, like for example, the iBio 201 using protein characterization. Once that pre-approved vaccine goes into phase 1 clinical trials, then I'm sure the share price will kickstart as well. And once we start getting news information on the iBio 200 potentially going into phase 1 clinical trials, that will also increase its share price. And also there's the Bio 100 for cystic fibrosis that's being studied. That's another great solid vaccine that's in the works, as well as the swine flu vaccine that's being studied as well. So there's a number of different milestones that iBio will be accomplishing start of the new quarter, Q4, and up through 2021. So I firmly believe if you park your money in a company like iBio, you will capitalize on positive proceeds. In my prior video, I was noting just recently yesterday that the current share price at $1.70 is Merry Christmas, and I hope those who watched and listened to my input followed the guidance, because that was technically Merry Christmas. A video a day before a company goes up close to 40%, to me that is Merry Christmas. So hopefully you all had to capitalize, and I'm glad that some of you did. Now I'm going to go over to the information I wanted to share with you. So iBio stock, as you can see here, Monday, concerning an update on the novel coronavirus that has iBio stock soaring. So let me go ahead and read this information here. According to President Trump, the authorization from the FDA will cover coronavirus patients that are hospitalized due to the illness. This opens up the way for plasma companies to use plasma from people previously infected by the virus to treat those currently being infected by it. Convalescent plasma therapy uses plasma to treat patients because it contains antibodies. That means that people that already have the coronavirus have the appropriate antibodies to fight off the virus. Transferring this plasma to a person already infected by the virus can help their bodies naturally fight it off. So that's beneficial, right? So you have transfer of antibodies basically into a healthy patient. Now, how do you work out the things you don't want to transfer over and the things you want to transfer over? That's up for discussion, but I think this is great news because not only is iBio working on vaccines using its plant-based technology and protein characterization as well as VLP technology, it's also leveraging what we see here, convalescent plasma. So this is great news for iBio. All right, and I foresee that the share price can likely go up $5 to $10 quickly. Now let's go over to ticker number 2 I want to share with you, and that is going to be Inovio Pharmaceuticals. And why am I so big on Inovio Pharmaceuticals? Well, first off, from a share price point of view, you are technically capitalizing on Merry Christmas price right now at a share price hovering at $12, $11 with Inovio Pharmaceuticals. I think it's a great buying opportunity before it's too late, where it starts climbing up when you start getting funding likely from CEPI. Because what we know is CEPI supplied granting for Inovio Pharmaceuticals Phase 1. Once Phase 1 is officially complete, then I'm looking at over here the Inovio Pharmaceuticals pipelines, and I wanted to share with you INO 4800 progress for the COVID-19 coronavirus. So there's a spike protein, and as you can see here, this is preclinical. This is phase 1, 2, and 3. Hovering down here, as you can see, we're still in the phase 1, and it's not technically complete yet. But once this bar gets beyond to phase 2, I firmly believe CEPI here will provide funding as a sponsor to Inovio Pharmaceuticals to support the phase 2 trials. And once that happens, the share price will likely shoot back up to its prior resistance value of $35. Recall when the share price was hovering at $13 and then the Department of Defense granted $71 million, and that's when the share price jumped from like $14 all the way up to $30. Well, this can happen again, and let's not underestimate the power of Inovio Pharmaceuticals and its innovative product, the INO 4800, because at the end of the day, the true product characteristics play out in terms of safety and efficacy when you see companies like Inovio, Moderna, and Novavax playing out its vaccine in humans and seeing the end results. All those are being measured. T cells, antibodies are all being measured. And I firmly believe what I'm hovering right now, the INO 4800, is the one for the future based on the Syncon technology being used to make the DNA plasmid. Okay, so that's my ticker number 2 hot pick. Now I wanted to hover over to ticker number 3, okay, and this is a company that's based in South San Francisco. It has an employee size of less than 20, so I'm sharing with you a small cap biotech company that's called Vaxart, VXRT. And what's unique about this company is that they have promising preclinical trial results where they're coming out with a potential vaccine for the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, the mode of delivery is much different. So instead of the traditional vaccine like the Moderna, Novavax, and Inovio with the solvent injection into your body, this instead is a simple oral medication that you take. So to me, it seems like Vaxart has monopolized the market in terms of its mode of delivery for the medication. But now the question is, how effective, how safe is it? So I know that Vaxart had recently submitted its investigational new drug application about 10 days ago with the FDA this month, so it's a matter of just hearing back on FDA to see whether there's going to be the FDA concurrence to allow for the manufacturer of Vaxart to enter phase 1 clinical trials. But I foresee that this company will likely get into phase 1, and once that news releases, the share price will likely go up to I'd say $15 and beyond, at least for Vaxart. Okay, now I wanted to share with you a source here from the Motley Fool. And here are 3 coronavirus stocks that could double by the end of the year, according to this writer here. So I'm going to go ahead and skip Novavax. We know Novavax is doing a great job with its nano flu and COVID-19 that it's currently in the phase 1 trials, but I wanted to strictly focus on Inovio Pharmaceuticals and Vaxart. Okay, so just jumping back to VXRT, we know that Inovio also has the VGX3100 platform for cervical dysplasia, human papillomavirus, anal dysplasia. That vaccine is currently ahead of the game compared to all the other DNA vaccines that are currently in trials, except for the recent vaccine that was just approved under the orphan drug designation. That's different, but for this particular vaccine, the VGX3100, intended to treat cervical dysplasia, that's currently in phase 3, and that information will likely be released by Q4 of this year, so that will be another significant contributor in terms of raising up its share price. Once this information releases, this will be a subset to proving that the INO 4800 is in fact likely going to be working. Okay, now let's go hover down here to Vaxart. So I wanted to focus on this sentence here as what I mentioned earlier about the investigation on new drug. Let me go ahead and just read this sentence. Now, though Vaxart could be on its way to beginning a phase 1 study of the experimental vaccine after filing an investigational new drug application with the FDA earlier this month, the twist for Vaxart is that its vaccine is a tablet rather than an injection. Positive phase 1 results should light a fire beneath this already hot biotech stock. So there you go. There's different sources out there that are writing about Vaxart and the uniqueness about taking an oral medication as opposed to taking a vaccine. So that's great news. So these are the 3 tickers I wanted to share with you that I feel will add significant value, given that the last month or so we've seen a big tumble in the biotech industry. But with the great news about, well, not so great news, knowing that the infection rates are increasing in the European markets, we know that this pandemic is very human dependent, and it's really based on best practices and based on our data from seeing how the trends are growing in Spain and France, for example. We see a second potential breakout, and let's say if there's another shutdown, that would just make these companies' share prices skyrocket. Well, I'm going to say that there may not be any more shutdowns, but the demand for these companies will continue to increase as the total number of infection rates increase, because it's a matter of what's your total count of non-infected versus total active infected. And currently, with humans trying to combat this pandemic, it seems as though the number of active infected is much bigger right now. So that's the scary part, because when you have a high number of active infected, that number has to be 100% contained and isolated, and I don't think all that's happening right now. So that's why we need all these preventive and corrective action type drugs out there. And with the convalescent plasma, I think it's a great source for hospital use, especially for clinicians administering medication to patients who are severely impacted in the hospital. So that's why it's important that, you know, the Donald Trump comes out with a solution with having some type of medication. So I think it's great to have this type of medication in place, but to really have full immunity with this virus, that requires a safe and effective vaccine like the INO 4800, like the iBio 200, the iBio 201, and the Vaxart oral medication. So I hope that this video was valuable for you and informative, and please, anytime when you make an investment decision, please do your own research, and I'm here to support you with my guidance information. Once again, thank you so much for watching another episode at Investing with All I See Is W. And if you haven't liked this video, please do hit the like and subscribe to my channel for more videos, more insights, and let's win in this game. Thank you so much. Bye bye.